Hello and good evening. It is November 25th at 7:32 Eastern Standard Time. My name is Deanne Battle. Welcome to the Composite. We're in our second season, 10th episode. All right. So, have I done a Saturday episode? I've maybe done one, or, if I have, they've been very sporadic. So, I thought I would do a Saturday episode here. Now I hope people had a good holiday if you celebrated. Mine was pretty quiet. I met a friend and we went to a Cuban restaurant, so it wasn't, standard Americana fare for me when it comes to Thanksgiving, but that was good. It was a nice little departure. It was super quiet. No, the restaurant was the only place open in the mall, so didn't have like super competition for parking or anything like that. We just went and had a quiet meal, and then I came on back home. And so this has been a good weekend for me, an opportunity to rest up because I've been busy, unintentionally, unwarrantedly busy. But glad to be here with you this evening. And so what I was thinking is talk about some holiday related things. If you hear that breathing, that is the pup. She's sitting right here. I don't know if she's going to let me do the show in peace. We shall see. So some holiday related fare, and then I wanted to see if I could get my computer set up here, my little dinosaur. If you've watched previous episodes, I've talked about how long I've had this MacBook and how I need a new one, but that'll be on hold. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the issues, and that's obviously an understatement, in the Sudan and the Congo, because I think it's important to send care and concern to the Middle East, with everything that's happening between the Israelis and the Palestinians. But that doesn't mean we can't multitask and send our care and concern to folks in Sudan and the Congo as well. And so I know a little bit, but not that much. So I figured maybe we could be dually informed at the same time here. So we shall see. I have a bit of a crick in my neck. So if you see me like, that's why. I don't have a ton of ailments into middle age here, but the stiffness is the biggest thing that I've noticed about getting older. So I will definitely be mindful of that. Let's see here. All right, is the computadora going to cooperate? We shall see. All right, so I'll give that a few minutes here. So I've seen some dialogue. It's not extensive, but to be fair, that might just be who I follow on social media. I have seen some discourse about Thanksgiving being a holiday that celebrates genocide. And to be fair, that's a critique that should be had. I've never really thought about it that way. I mean, for me, Thanksgiving was the only holiday, or continues to be the only holiday, that we have here in the U.S. that's not, that just feels like, okay, a pause. Like, okay, this is a holiday, pretty much about nothing. Just go see your family, have a nice meal, take it easy. And that's really the place that I've, come from with it. And how do I put this? I guess if people don't see it that way, if they're like, oh, okay, well, it commemorates genocide, like, let's get rid of it. I don't have an issue with that, but let's pick a different day, whether in August or September, and just call it family holiday to eat, right? I think it's important, especially because we live in such a commercialized culture, that we do have a holiday that is a timeout from commercialism, is a timeout just in general. And, we don't really have that. I mean, it's only in the last few years that retailers in en masse like actually give their employees that day off, right? Because the idea would be, oh yeah, some people would want to have Thanksgiving meals early and then start the Black Friday nonsense on Thursday. So a lot of retailers were really making people work. And so, I mean, I'm sure there were still a few people that were working on Thanksgiving, but the push, I don't know if it came from unions or just from, a collective discourse on social media, that push to really get people to just say, no, like this is really going to be a holiday for pretty much everyone. Chill out, relax, go have a meal, go be grateful for something, right? And I think that that's the part for me that holds true the most. Just take a second to have some gratitude for something, and we don't really push gratitude enough in this culture. So if people want to again move it out of November to a different day, call it something else, I'm all for that. But I think we need a Thanksgiving or a Thanksgiving like holiday. I think we need that as a moment in this culture. So in the spirit of that, I want to talk about a few of the things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful at this point in my life to have the maturity to be grateful. And so here's what I mean by that. There's a lot of stuff that I have not achieved or, made, in my opinion, sufficient progress toward at this stage in my life. But I'm grateful for the ability to be able to track my evolution, to track how far I've come, and for that idea that I'm not spending so much time living in envy of, something someone else has done that I haven't done. It's not that I will not do it. It's that, number one, I haven't done it yet. And number two, it's not necessarily going to look for me the way that it looks for other people. And so what does that mean, right? To live in a place of gratitude to live in gratitude, and honor the fact that your journey looks different from other people. So I'm grateful for that, but that wasn't something that, I was inherently like, born with, or, that I, like naturally had access to. I really had to develop that time. It's just like, no, you have not finished your book yet, but when you do, ... it's not going to look the way that it looked for this person or that person. I don't know if this is going to be able to work for me to get these articles up. Well, if it doesn't, what I'll do is the next episode, as soon as I said that, now the computer has started. Okay, so I'll have those articles in a few minutes. Excellent. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for, valuing the people in my life, and that understanding that everyone, plays a different position in your journey, right? So, and by that I mean like, if you're not getting X that you want from someone, that does not mean that the person's not valuable to you. It's just that the person occupies a different space than you initially thought that they would, right? Which is okay. It's okay that you don't have the same best friends that you had 15, 20 years ago, right? It's okay that you have a different relationship to parents, siblings, so on and so forth. But, right, again, the ability to examine the evolution of those relationships, and to still be able to value and prize them, even though, like, oh, this is not the same as it was, X number of years ago. I mean, I think also too having gratitude for, how do I put this? Not the lack of success, but just that, right? You understand, I more fully understand that. Sorry, this crick in my neck is killing me. How do I put this? Understanding that what I view externally as someone's success is always going to come, with a downside. It just does, right? And so there are things, that I've been able to do and see, right? That had I been in a different place in my life, right? More traditionally, quote unquote, successful, that I might not have been able to make those things happen, right? Because I wouldn't have been able to move as many times as I have, and, meet as many different people as I have, or I might not have even been able to travel overseas, the way that I have, not as frequently as I would have liked, but I have been, overseas, quite a few more times than, a lot of people that I know. But again, those more traditional markers of success, right? Owning a home, having a family, being married, all of those things would have, in some regards, hindered that process of growth that I've been able to go on. So I guess all in all, folks, I'm grateful for the ability to assess, where I am in this journey, even though it looks so different than I thought it would look initially. But that could be seen as a good thing, right? All right, I'm just going to get this computer set up here. And, I hope that, in addition to Xena, stop it. Stop, doggy. Are you going to let me finish this show? Okay. So we've got an appearance here. Just so you know, the dog is not imaginary. She's a really great friend, but she's quite codependent. All right. All right, so Sudan, we'll start there. Okay. And it might feel, just to wrap up that previous discussion, like a somewhat trite thing to say. But I've really found like anything that I thought that I was missing out on, maybe 6 months to a year out from it, I've been able to like either talk to somebody that did have that opportunity or, follow up on the situation in some sort of way and then realize like, oh, yeah, I thought that was a lot cooler or a lot more lucrative than it actually ended up being. So that's just my experience. That's not true for everyone. But even in my most annoyed moments, I've found that, God, my spirits, my ancestors, they put me generally where I need to be. So now I'm just kind of at a point where I'm like, okay, all right. I know you all have the best in mind for me. You have the best in store for me. I'm just trying to like maintain composure and patience as, those processes evolve, turn over, so on and so forth. Okay. So now I've pulled up some articles here about Sudan, and I just want to touch on a couple of them so we can, if you're like me who, you need to learn more, really want to learn more, be an informed participant on this planet. So I'm going to start with Al Jazeera. Now, so this is an article from 3 days ago. Just to, I think, give an overview here. Let me flip the screen. All right. Fears of an all-out ethnic war rise in Sudan's Darfur. Alrighty. So we will allow cookies. Doha, Qatar. The next major battle in Sudan's civil war between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces could spiral into all-out ethnic violence that puts entire communities at risk. All right, I'll turn this around because I can't really control the brightness, and I'm like not as stable with the phone hand here. Let's see. I'll find just a few paragraphs that seem like choice paragraphs. A neutral body at the time, the JPF, former Darfur rebel groups tasked with security in the region after the UN African Union peacekeeping forces left at the start of 2021, pledged to protect major markets and civilians across Darfur, despite their limited abilities when the war erupted in April. Okay, so this has been going on for quite some time. The RSF fighters have defeated Sudan's army in 4 of Darfur's 5 states. During their charge, the group has killed civilians, subjected women to sexual violence, and looted neighborhoods. Okay, so there was a peace agreement between the JPF and the RSF in October 2020. The agreement allowed non-Arab rebel groups to return to Darfur from exile in Libya, where they had been for 4 years. Yes, this is really extensive. And I know already I'm not going to do this justice in the next 5 to 10 minutes here. All right. I think, this, I would say since the Russia and the Ukraine incident, I've definitely been feeling like there need to be more, international classes or just, global civics, if you will, for students like at the secondary level, like maybe when you're in 9th or 10th grade, learning a little bit more about that. I did teach at one school, and it was an all-girls school, and they had this, I'm blanking on the name of the program now, but it was like, an international connection between the school and other schools, a consortium of schools, just around doing like news, and civic awareness, and they would have like, these big Zoom meetings, between the schools. And it was just an opportunity for, the students to really, connect globally around, important news issues, politically, socially, so on and so forth. And I think like, more students need access to that. So that way, as they grow into the decision makers, if you will, they're doing it from a place of, I have had connections with, schools across Western Africa, across, Eastern Europe and different places in Asia, that they're operating locally, but with that global awareness of, other people their age. Okay, so yes, this is a very extensive article. I'm going to see if I can find some reputable cliff notes for us. So I'm just finding it interesting that I put in Sudan, right, in Google, and I'm on the first page of news results here, and none of them are, your standard, New York Times, Boston Globe, so on and so forth. They're all international, more internationally driven publications. So already it's not, even getting the level of coverage that it should here. So I'm going to go to Reuters, and then I think you're going to join me as I have to take my dog out because she's whining here. All right, so let's look at what Reuters had to say. And it's a Reuters special report. Okay, so this might be fruitful. Let's have a look. Sudan refugees detail second wave of bloody ethnic purge by Arab forces. All right, so it's still a little blurry. What if I make it darker? Nah. Doesn't help as much. Zena. Okay, wait. You're going to read with me about Sudan, and then I guess we're going to take the audience on a pee and poop run. I'm hoping just a pee run. That's the thing about having a larger dog. The waste distribution is a lot more involved than it was in the past with my Pepper. Yes, you're much bigger than my Pepper. This dog here that I have now she's got to be at least a solid 60 pounds by now because she's heavy. I can't lift her in one fell swoop the way I used to my other pup, who spent most of her life at around, I think 40, 45 pounds. So, solid, meaty animal here that is now messing with my show. Zena, wait. Give me a few minutes. Lord. Okay. All right. So back to the Sudan. Okay. Arab-led RSF forces have pressed ahead this month with their expulsion of Sudan's ethnic African Masalit tribe from West Darfur. Survivors described large-scale killings of Masalit captives at a soccer field and a bridge in the regional capital. As assaults mount, some fear a possible partition of the country. Wow. Yeah, this is another genocide, right? Arab forces waged a campaign of killing and rape that expelled most of the ethnic African Masalit tribe from the Sudanese city of El Janina. This month they returned to finish the job. Okay. So you have a lot of people internally displaced. Okay. Right. And they're being separated out, again, by ethnicity and skin color. I wonder why all of this is setting off at the same time here. Right? Because is it all are we running to a resource depletion that we're not being told about that is now, flaring up into these very distinctive, ethnically based wars? Okay. Sorry, I gotta take this dog out. All right. So let's see, how are we going to make this happen? All right. I guess you will just join me on a dog run here. Definitely not ideal, but hey, it's live television, and we're gonna run with it. Because she decided that she needed to go out again while I'm trying to do this program. So I'll just take her out rather than her whining in the background and you hearing her breathe like a stalker in the background. Okay. Zena, calm down. All right. We are outside. Yes, and so while we're out here, I'll just mention that again. Thinking through that. Is there something about where we are globally in terms of resources that is making all of these ethnically based conflicts flare up at the same time? I didn't get to look up the Congo situation yet. If my dog doesn't have me out here for too long, I'll get into that. Okay. Well, it looks like she's getting to the point quite quickly. That's a good thing overall, I guess. Zena, stop pulling. Daddy got me out here. If you live on the Northeast, we haven't really, if you're in the Mid-Atlantic region, we haven't had our first snow yet. So it's been, somewhat cold, but not that bad. Sorry. It's not the most stable thing to look at here. But like I said, she kept it sweet and to the point. When I envisioned doing this show, I didn't necessarily see it as like a blog type thing. I saw it as more of like a traditional, I'll sit here and, talk about issues. I'll have like index cards and stuff. And yeah, no, I'm just kind of going with the flow, which included taking the dog for a little walk here. Okay. All right, so we're going to head back upstairs, talk a little bit more about geopolitics, and then most likely wrap up. Come on. All right. there's a poor connection, so I hope that clears up. But I'm headed back over to my little perch here. Oh, goodness. And while I'm here, goodness. It's just one thing I wanted to get out here. Aha, there we go. So definitely wanted to get some hand sanitizer out. I don't want to wash my hands while I'm on the screen here. So this will save me a little time until the program's over. Okay. All right. So now the computer has gone asleep or died yet again. So yeah, I won't be able to pull those articles back up. All right, so maybe we'll look at the Congo next time. Yep, that is gone. Thanks, doggy. I was downstairs with you and the computer died. All right, so we just go with the flow then. So I do want to look, at the issues in the Congo. And then there is a breakout of a new type of pneumonia in China. So we need to look at that as well. Because as someone who, I work in a situation where I'm, constantly around people, I'm a teacher. I'm definitely thinking about what is going to be the next pandemic. So yeah, we've got a lot of fun things to talk about on the horizon, apparently. But listen, as long as I'm doing this broadcast, I think I can bring, a certain amount of dark humor, or sarcasm to our plights, if you will. But one thing that I've been doing for the last few episodes that I think I'll do again right now is run some cards, right? Because that's the thing. And it's very much, right, about our energy, my energy as I'm, pulling oracle cards or tarot cards, but then also about our collective energy as we're thinking about, what are some positive things, coming toward us this week, or what can we hold in a positive space. And, I'm not ashamed to say that that's something that we need to think about more and more, right? Because there's a lot of shit flying around right now, y'all. Yeah. Alrighty. So today's the 25th. So let's, think about what are, right, some things on the horizon. What are some things that we should think about for the week of November 26th? We'll keep it general, right? So this can be, for relationships, career stuff, money stuff, geopolitical stuff, just some things that we should, hold in the forefront of our mind, things on the horizon for this week of November 26th. Messages. Week of November 26th. Quite a while. Oh, okay, and as soon as I said that. All right, so we've got the elk card. So here it says it symbolizes mobility. It says, celebrate your accomplishments with humility. You are crowned with success. Powerful forces guide you. Your ability to conquer challenges is limitless. So that is the elk. So that's an oracle card here. Had fox on the bottom of the deck. Okay. This is the Keepers of the Light deck. Shuffle this a few times. All right. November 26th. All right. All right. So from the Keepers of the Light deck, we've got Gaia. It says Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to Earth. Stay grounded. All right. So we've got, you have powerful forces guiding you and stay grounded. Right. So those are the Isis on the bottom of the deck here. So those are the biggest takeaway from those two. And then I'll pull a few tarot cards here. And then we'll put it all together and then wrap up this episode, right? And like I said, next episode, definitely want to dig into the issues in the Congo, because definitely not a lot of, or enough Western media really covering that in extensive ways. Okay, and I'll read all three of the cards together that I pulled. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, so the first card that came out was the Four of Wands. The second card that came out was the Ace of Cups. And the third card that came out was the Two of Swords in reverse. Okay. All right. So it's 5, 7. So the total, from a numerology standpoint, is 7. Okay. Now, Four of Wands, my understanding is it's generally associated with foundations, stability. Ace of Cups is like a new opportunity in love or creativity. And then Two of Swords is, kind of paralysis, or you're stuck around making a decision, but that's in reverse. So I guess for this week, what we can think about in terms of the tarot here is creating some sort of emotional foundation or some sort of creative foundation, and to let go of any type of hesitation when it comes to making a decision, right? Because the oracle cards tell us that we can conquer our challenges, and that we can be grounded, right? So we don't necessarily need to have any paralysis around making decisions, because we have the grounding to meet any sort of challenges ahead of us. And we have the ability to create a foundation when it comes to our emotions, when it comes to our creativity, right? So I guess this is a week where we can trust, right, that we can make the decisions that we need to. We can trust that we have the foundation to let love in. We have the foundation to let our creativity in. So those are some things to think about. If I can get my neck together, I'll definitely go live tomorrow. So I'll let people know by tomorrow afternoon. All right, so this has been the Composite. I am still Deanne Battle, and this has been Season 2, Episode 10. So thank you if you're watching the playback, and I hope you had a great holiday, and I'll see you on the next one.